You can hear one of Santa's elves in the background. They're working on something. I bet it's for one of the grandchildren that live next door. But come on in into my back door, my second family entrance. We came in the first family entrance yesterday into my morning room. And you guys have seen this space before. This is just kind of the back stoop. It's where I can store my firewood, things that I need for my indoor fireplace. It's great this time of year because it is shady and it's not freezing, it's just cool. So anything I can't fit into my refrigerator or that I need cooling, like this beautiful birthday bouquet that my friend Jenny brought me today, I can keep that outside. So come on in, pretend like we're gonna sit by the fire and have a cup of tea. So come on in, Stuart can follow me. And welcome to my kitchen. It is not very big, but I think it's pretty cozy. Yes, I do have a fireplace, which I find absolutely indispensable. I've said it about 1,000 times. I think putting a fireplace in my kitchen and my kids' education's probably the best money I've ever spent. I can't tell you the number of fires we have burned in that fireplace. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that practically every morning I have my coffee down here, even before daylight, and I sit down here and meditate and just enjoy the morning before it's even light outside. So let me tell you a little bit about this space. We bought the house in 1990, and we did some restoration to it. One of those things was the kitchen. We actually didn't do that, however, until 1995. And we didn't change a lot of things, but here are a few things we did change. Number one, we opened this up. This used to just be a very narrow opening that went into a breakfast room. And there were built-ins, not unlike what I showed you yesterday in that video, but we just expanded it a little bit. Another thing that it was money well spent, we put in this amazing palladium window that looks out into the garden. So I have a pretty beautiful view. So even Stuart just made a face because he's seen this view a lot, especially when the viburnum is in bloom. But I have a lovely view, and I never take it for granted. And if you're going to stand here doing the dishes or whatever, it is a nice place to be, I promise. And I have 3 pots here of some amaryllis that I'm forcing. We did a video on that not too long ago. And these are just all beautiful sticks from my garden. I love the ones that still have some foliage suspended from them. Why I like this is that I can see through them. I love the architecture of the branches. Ultimately, they will support the stems and the stalks of the amaryllis. But I really love it because I can see through it. So it in no way impedes or obstructs the view of the garden in the back. Now, before we get started, I want to show you a couple of things and maybe challenge you in a couple of things. Since the ice storm, I know you guys are tired of hearing about it, but we're still recovering. One of the things that got kind of messed up was my burglar alarm system, and periodically it just makes these kind of beeps, and it did yesterday. It might today. Then again, it might not. I'm not really sure. But I thought we would play a little game as an apology for how obnoxious it is during these videos. And that is that the first person who tells me at the end of the video in the comments how many times it beeped or it didn't beep at all, you're the winner. And I'm going to send you one of my new garden calendars that's got the monthly to-do list. It tells you what to do when. These are all images from my garden. You can buy it off of Zazzle, but I will send you one of these. All you have to do is just instant message me or send me an email with your address, and I'll put one in the mail to you. Again, this is kind of an apology for how obnoxious that sound is. The second thing that I want to do, you guys, Yesterday, I was just overwhelmed with the number of comments you made. So obviously you liked my bringing you indoors, and I guess we'll do a little bit more of it now that it's cold outside. If you do, please comment below. Let me know what you like, what you'd like to see. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up or whatever. It really does mean a lot to us. And share with others if you think they would enjoy it too. Now, I want to do a shout out because yesterday, you guys always leave wonderful messages and you send me emails and everything. But yesterday, believe it or not, this one came a few weeks ago. But yesterday, I got 2 more cards in the mail from viewers who just wanted to send me a nice note. They took the time to literally find out what my mailing address was and write me a sweet note. So I want to do a shout out. There's a couple down in Texas, or Fort Bliss, Texas, and they have just sent me some of the most inspiring, supportive message of work that they're doing down there. And Jane Beavers, I think it's Beavers, she and her husband have sent me such lovely, lovely notes. And this is one of them. And I just want you to know how much I value these and cherish them. This has been on my bulletin board. I show it to people as a demonstrable act of kindness, of unexpected kindness, and something that you can do to really positively affect somebody's day. So if you think about it, just send somebody a pretty note today. Now, I want to also show you just a couple of my favorite things before I talk a little bit more about the room itself. This is my favorite Christmas thing ever, and it is a wreath box that my son Jamer, my younger son who lives in Denver, he did this for me I don't know how many years ago, and he decorated it in all, look at the little snowman, in all of its childlike innocence. And okay, he did it in 2003 in 5th grade. How sweet is that? And Stuart, if you will kind of turn around and pan around, because the wreath is behind you. And I keep it on my kitchen door, and it's been supplemented over the years. I've added some different ornaments that are all mostly kitchen inspired, but the little clothesline, what are those called? Clothesline hooks? The word escapes me. Clothespins, thank you. Ornaments that they made when they were little, those are all hanging on there. And it just reminds me of him. So I may not put out a bunch of other decorations this year, but I promise you, every year I put out that wreath and I savor my little 5th grade son. I miss that 5th grade son, though I kind of like him now too. So come on in, let me show you. One of the things that we did when we redid the kitchen was obviously we painted the cabinets. These are wood mode cabinets, and they have an undercoat of kind of a vibrant red. You can see it here in this glass cabinet. That's the undercoat. And then I actually had some artists / painters who did the finish. These are all maple cabinets. They did the finish. What I love about it is it's very forgiving. I also love it because it matches, I think, the English style of the vintage, the integrity of this old house. But it's very forgiving. It was very forgiving for, let's say, just a family of boys, of my 2 young boys and my husband, and it continues to be very forgiving and very easy to clean and wipe up. So not an all-white kitchen for me, you guys, but I still love it. I would do it again. I have never once been tempted to repaint it since 1995. We put in an industrial range, a wolf range. It gets a ton of use. I really believe in using what you have inside and out. I like the fact that things get a little scuffed up and distressed, because that's just the signs of a life well lived. And I kind of just don't mind that. Again, it speaks to the English Tudor nature of my house. So yesterday, again, this is a small space, so it's hard to kind of navigate. I am going to shut this door because it's getting kind of chilly in here. And by the way, this is my laundry room. When we first moved in, the washer and dryer were in the basement. And the best gift my mother-in-law, who just passed away in February, but the best gift she ever gave me was to tell my young, naive self to bring the washer and dryer up from the basement. So we did that when we moved in. Now, it wouldn't be a kitchen of mine if it didn't have topiary. So this is that silhouette that I just so love. These are my rosemary topiaries that yesterday had a holiday out on my porch, because all living plants really, or the kinds I grow, the topiary, they really want to be outside. They want greater sunlight and a greater exposure to the elements than they get inside my dry, heated house. So of course I have to have topiaries in here, and I love them because they're fragrant. I can clip on them as I cook, and I think that's kind of nice. So again, here's my window. Pretty much, because I've got so much wood in here, I don't do a lot of decorating inside my kitchen, but what I do are certain wood embellishments. I find that, and I think it was it Janice or Brenda who was telling me in one of their comments that they find every year they use less and less material things from the store and more from their gardens and from nature to decorate their homes. And I do that too. And I do it, one, because it speaks to kind of a garden-inspired lifestyle, but also because I don't have to pack it and put it away and take it down to the basement afterwards. All I have to do is compost it or put it outside for the birds or whatever, and that makes it very, very easy and recyclable in an earthy way. So, but what I do have typically are wooden things. Most of them were gifted to me a long time ago, and I like to position things so it kind of tells a little story. And I think this little wooden vignette here kind of tells a story, and you can compose your own ending for that story if you like. Some other things that are cherished to me. This is another little nutcracker, a little woodworking guy. And he sits on my knife stand. And you guys, I know, will ask about this knife stand because you've asked about it before. It has a magnet in it. And so I can have all of my knives at the ready. It takes up a little bit less counter space. And I got this on Amazon. And if Stuart will remind me, I'll put the link below. One more thing. So many of you asked me about the link to the taper candlestick that I showed you yesterday. And I got them from Terrain years ago, and I guess they don't offer them anymore. I wasn't able to find a link or even find a similar product, but I will continue to look. If any of you find it as you're looking, then you might give me a heads up and I'll try to supply that link for you. I love these little hanging peppers. I have these every year. These were gifted to me by my dearest friend, Deborah, who Stuart also knows. They're friends as well. She introduced me to my husband. She brought this back recently from Santa Fe, and it reminds me of that part of the country that I love so much, Santa Fe and New Mexico and Colorado. So another kind of interesting thing about the format of this kitchen, you'll notice on that side that the open cabinet is deep, and there is enough depth in there for storage for glassware and things. Don't judge me if that cabinet isn't tidy. This one, however, is symmetrical, but it's not deep at all because there's a flue behind here that we had to work around. So this cabinet is very, very shallow and made a perfect spice cabinet. The other thing is this drawer here is just a fake drawer. it's not functional. But again, because we wanted symmetry when we did the kitchen, you'll notice that this one is functional. And I can keep a calendar in there or whatever. It's really, really handy. So that way I have symmetry. I have a little bit more storage in this kind of tiny kitchen. And they even put in these amazing corner cabinets that otherwise wouldn't be functional space. So I really like the design of that. This actually looks like granite, but it is marble. And at that time when we installed it, I thought, oh, I'm going to bake, I'm going to do all of these things, and marble is what you supposedly were it was the optimum thing to have to roll out pastry dough. Well, do I bake? No, I don't. But do I still love this marble? Yes, I do. I really like it. And I repeated the tile detailing from the area around the sink over here on the opposite side. So just like I like to have stone steps with brick under risers, I like to have these risers underneath my steps or underneath my kitchen counter. Did that make any sense? Kind of. Okay, Stuart's nodding his head. Kind of it did, in a convoluted way. Okay, so this is where we spend, I would say, 75% of our time, especially in the winter, and I think that's pretty obvious why. We love this wood-burning fireplace. It does have a gas jet, and I showed you that our firewood is just right outside the door, but I want to show you something else. So if you look out here, you can see what a wonderful view my husband has. This room used to stop right here. We bumped this out just subtly and put in some French doors and some steps. And let me get out of the way so Stuart can show you what a beautiful vista, what a beautiful view my husband has, because this is his chair right here. So when we've got lights outside, when we've got a little fire in my fire grate outside, we can come and go from these French doors. We can open them up, we can get a breeze. It's great for entertaining, and these spaces are tight, but I think they're still cozy. So I'm kind of embarrassed to say that most of the time it's at this little table in front of our mom and dad chairs that we eat dinner and breakfast at. It's pretty handy, and when the fireplace is lit, we just don't want to get too far away from the fireplace. Most of the time, in fact, when I'm sitting in this room, I'm sitting on the hearth because I just really like the cozy feel of having the warmth on my back. So that is just a seasonal indulgence that I just find absolutely delightful, just delightful. So usually there's a topiary or something here. Now I want to do a shout out because Stuart, I haven't touched this, and Stuart does have on a mask, you guys. This is a croissant that my friend Deborah, when she brought me my birthday gift, because today's my birthday, she baked these croissants, and I've saved one for Stuart right here. And this is my favorite piece of spode. It's the OG dish. Why it's called that, I have no idea. It's my favorite piece of spode, and usually there's some kind of little goodie on my table for Hubs or for Stuart to indulge in. Here is Stuart's laughing, but he knows I do. I take care of you, Stuart. At different times, I've had different things as a fireplace holder in the past. I have a metal one. I have anyhow, just different ways that I hold my firewood. I just really like the look of a basket. And this is a plastic Trug that I got from Gardener Supply. I'll try to put a link below. And it kind of protects the basket because I like the earthy way it looks. Now, something else that I'm kind of funny about. I've already spoken of my affection for fairy lights, and someone asked me what color I like, and I like the warm white. So these are the warm white fairy lights. I get them off of Amazon, and I'll put a link below. Every year I have to decorate with citrus, and I haven't yet made my clove pomanders, which I will do a little bit later, but I have dried some of this citrus, and when I do a video on the cloved spiked citrus, I will talk about how I dry that. I love it because they kind of look like stained glass. I love taper candles. I've spoken about that before. And this time of year, I burn them a lot. I burn them all over my house. But I only burn them where I am. And as soon as I leave that location, I never leave them unattended. And I always blow them out. Because I use so many of them, I like to have them at the ready. And so I keep a picture of them on my mantle. These I get from Trader Joe's. I really like them. They're for the most part dripless. And because I don't like the looks of those plastic fire clickers, I like to use long fireplace matches. So I get these off of Amazon. I like the way they look in this little pewter dish that belonged to my mom. And what I did was just cut off the strike pad and put it on the bottom. So then when I light the gas jet, I can use the fireplace matches. My husband laughed at me because I even saved the fireplace match after it's used because I can use it again just by lighting it on one of the candles that I always have lit. So he was making fun of me. He said, "You are so much one of 10 children because you save everything." And yes, that's true. I guess I do. Just make sure that it's really blown out before you put it back in with the other matches, or you could have some fireworks going. I do different things on this mantle every year. I have to kind of be careful because it is a very drying atmosphere here because of the fireplace. But I do want to show you these beautiful paper white narcissus. I did a video on that not long ago. Stuart, please put a link to this video about forcing paper whites. And I demonstrated my magical elixir to keep them short instead of stubby so that they don't flop over. And you can see these already have buds on them, and they're just that tall. And I anticipate that before long these will be in bloom and hopefully short enough so they don't flop over. I've got them growing in gravel, mulched with moss, and then top dressed and adorned with little tiny clementines and more dried oranges. And then the dried wreaths, these are boxwood wreaths. I got these at Trader Joe's. Sometimes I will spray wreaths with wilt proof or something to keep them fresh, but I kind of like the look of these preserved and dried, and I don't worry about that. I still find them beautiful and attractive in that state. So this is this area. Over here, this is still kind of a work in progress. I'm decorating this spot, but this is our table decor here. And just like outside, I try to continue a theme or a decor element throughout the space. And obviously that is citrus. So I've mulched these pots. These were just some laurel topiaries or laurel plants that volunteered in my garden. I think I did a video in a previous YouTube, and you can look that up. But I just put them in a topiary form. I've had these for a couple of years. There are a few more of them that are outside, but they kind of look like bay trees. I like the way they look. I've got some big fat amaryllis buds getting ready to come into bloom. And then these are kind of fun. I told you that I love spray paint, and these look like little stone acorns, and these are acorns that I just spray painted with a stone spray. I have a whole bunch of those, and I like the way they look. Now, this is something very, very special to me. Over the years, I have worked with Garden Gate magazine quite a bit. Kristen Bean Sullivan, the editor there, I consider a dear friend. We became friends when Garden Gate came out here for their first magazine shoot, and she and I have remained very close. And she sent me these wonderful hand woodworked ornaments this year. And you guys, there's a special deal right now, and I'll put the link below. There's a few sets of these left. If you use the code LV Holiday, you can get them at $99 for a set. They come packaged in this sweet box with these wood shavings. They're normally $129, so you can get a really good deal. I ordered these for my friend Deborah, and I just love them. And look at this one. It's a topiary. And I think these are so, so sweet. So Kristen, thank you, and I'll tag you and I'll put a link below. If you want these, you guys, you really need to get on it right away and go to it, because they will be gone soon. They're a limited edition. Just to demonstrate, it really is my birthday. Look at this cute little ensemble of birthday gifts from my friend Deborah, my friend who introduced me to my husband, who's been my best friend forever. And then some of you were asking me, and I may or may not do a video, but if not, if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, because in my stories, I've started to put all of my favorite things and readers' favorite things that I get from Trader Joe's this holiday. And one of them, these are absolutely marvelous, you guys. These are brilliant. They're little chocolate-covered fig bonbons. Oh my gosh, they are individually wrapped. Stuart just made a face like, I am so gonna have one of those after we finish shooting. And I love in the afternoon to have a cup of tea and a little treat, and sometimes this is that treat. Here is a little glimpse. We'll save this for another room. This at one time had a door on it, but when we bought the house, this door into the dining room was missing. Some of you commented on my squeaky floors, so if you liked those in the morning room, you're gonna like them here. My kids used to complain, however, when they were teenagers, that it was impossible to sneak out of our house because all of the wood floor squeaked. But there was not a door here when we bought the house, but I like the intimacy of that. So we replaced it. There was a spot for the door, even though there wasn't a door there. And we put in, I love beveled glass, and we put in a beveled glass paned door. And I'll try to put a link to the online source for glass panes that does beveled glass at a fabulous, fabulous price. I think I mentioned yesterday in the previous video that my brother-in-law was a naturalist. He collected butterflies, and this is a part of his butterfly collection. This is very near and dear. We lost his brother years ago, and this is very near and dear to my husband's heart. So I love having these kind of treasured things around. Now, again, we're navigating a tight space. So this is an area I have not decorated yet, and I will get to it when I can, and maybe on Instagram or something I'll show a video of how I decide to do it. So this is my plate rack. When we moved in, I had this plate rack custom made by a woodworker in Gore, Oklahoma, and had it stained. And so just depending on the season, I kind of decorated in different ways. Now this is so fun, you guys. These gifts, or these little matching Christmas trees, these were a gift from my friend Deborah, who bought them back from Sweden. So when I got these other ones as a gift from my friend Kristen, I thought, oh, I'm going to do some kind of display in my plate rack with those as the primary stars and the primary elements. I do like to have candles burning in here, but obviously that's not safe. So I typically use battery operated ones. I've got some real ones in here now just for storage, because I wanted to remind you that this is another thing I really like to get at Trader Joe's, are their pillar candlesticks. And typically I like candles to be in white or natural colors. I'm not generally a big fan of colored candles. So when this is all decked out and decorated, I will make sure to show you, I promise. Sometimes in the chandelier, I might put some greenery, but not this year. It's just a little bit more simple. So I promise you, if you guys were here, I would so invite you to sit by the fire. We could have tea and maybe one of those chocolate covered Fig Bonbons, and we could talk gardening, and wouldn't it be lovely? So consider this your virtual invitation to come sit by the fire with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful beginning of December, and enjoy continuing to decorate your home over time. Happy holidays.
Happy birthday, Linda.
Thank you, Stuart.